Building a new home in Colorado Springs can be your best friend or your worst enemy, and today we're going to give you 5 tips to keep in mind when you're purchasing a new build in the Colorado Springs area. But number 5, in my opinion, is by far the most important, so stay tuned for the entire video.
I personally love new builds. I love helping clients go through the process of a new build. There are several different reasons why, and we'll kind of try to keep this one short-ish or not too crazy for you guys, because like any other topic here in Colorado Springs, we can go on and on and on.
It won't be short.
But one thing with new builds is that the good thing about it, right, is that it's brand new. Nice and shiny. You get more modern home. You don't have to worry about outdated, different styles. It's all brand new.
Yeah, we just helped a buyer probably about 2 months ago who lived in a new build. She purchased it, she picked all the things, whatever, and then she moved and purchased a pre-existing home. And even though she loved that home, her biggest battle was that it's weird that somebody else has lived in this house. I want to replace the carpet, I want to replace the cabinets, I want to paint this, I want to do that. Which all of those things are good to keep in mind, but you can also do all of those things with a new build. So it doesn't matter if you want to purchase pre-existing or new build. You can build a new build however you'd like it to, or you can do a spec home, which, do you want to tell them a little bit about the difference between
the two? So a big thing that you'll see is that you can either get a new build and it's ready right now, right? They've already built it. That means that they've already picked up the upgrades. They've picked up the carpet, the cabinets, the flooring. You don't get to change anything with it pretty much at all. Those are called spec homes. They've been built. They're ready to be sold. Some builders will only build spec homes. Other builders will allow you to start from ground up. And so what that means is that it's a little bit longer of a process, right? So if you are watching this and you think that you're going to be moving within 6 to 9 months and new builds might be an option, give us a call, send us a text, because we want to get started with that right away. But home from dirt, you do get to pick out your lot. You get to pick out which floor plan you like. You get to pick out all of the custom upgrades, flooring, cabinets, showers. Some builders will allow you to add a bedroom where a loft is. So you have way more flexibility on kind of picking out everything that you want in your particular home.
Now, with that being said, something to keep in mind is that spec homes are usually that home, right? There might be 2 or 3 very similar, but that is the home. So when you go in, that's the one. You usually move on it pretty quickly, and you can close in however long it takes for your lender to get you closed, 30 days, 60 days, whatever. With the other option, it is going to be a longer process. So I think that they're 2 totally different paths, and you kind of need to figure out, are you ready to pull the trigger right away? Are you okay with not picking out all your upgrades? Is this home perfect for you and your family? Or do you want to take the extra time to really dive into what exactly do you want in that home? You're okay with a 6-month build process. You're okay with potential delays, because that does happen, especially here in Colorado Springs. They can also be built a lot faster. We're closing on a new build in a week and a half that wasn't supposed to be done until
November, December.
later. Yeah. Well, at the time of this recording. So yeah.
Right.
It was supposed to be 2 months later than what it actually is. So they moved up the closing process, which was great for our buyers.
Yep. So number 2, and this happens a lot, you guys. You'll look online and you're going to see a price, and that price is going to be really, really attractive for a brand new house.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that is called marketing, right? So builders are notorious for putting a price in the MLS or on their site or on their advertisement that you can get this home for $300,000. You can get this home for $500,000, whatever that price point is, right? It looks super, super attractive. The problem, normally, that is the bare minimum price without your lot, without any upgrades, or it has incentives that are tied into that price. And so if you don't qualify for those incentives, that's not your price. So number 2 is going to be more of those hidden fees and or things that you don't know about until you actually dive deep into it.
Yeah, what you see isn't always what you get. And you also just have to be savvy to what's happening. So if you're a first-time buyer, pay attention to this, because some of this is going to really apply to you that you might not know. And one of those is going to be property taxes. For example, if you build your home and then they reassess the taxes and then those taxes are then $6,000 a year, for example, if you divide that by 12 months, that's $500 a month added to your mortgage payment. If those taxes were $1,000 the first time around, that's going to be an additional $400 a month added to your mortgage payment that you weren't expecting to pay because you went the new build route. So pay attention to that for sure.
Well, and I think to kind of like go into why that is, right? When the new build is first assessed, it's not assessed based off of the actual home. It's only the land, right? So that's why those numbers get tricky. Now, when you're working with us, because you will be, we help explain all of that and we navigate that for you. And when we get you pre-approved, the lender will account for those higher taxes. So that way you don't have surprises like that, because it is very, very deceiving. And especially if you use that dang Z word and you go in there and you put your little estimate in there, it's not going to estimate the right information, you guys. So it's going to say that your payment's going to be super attractive. And then we're going to have to give you bad news.
Yeah.
So just give us a call.
Another thing that it's not probably going to assess correctly, she was referring to Zillow, by the way, is going to be an HOA. I would say more times than not, when you're going the new build route, there will be an HOA or a special district or something that's going to be added on to your payment. You should be explained what that is, but especially if you're moving from out of state or you're just not familiar with an HOA or how it can affect your payment, that will also add on most likely a few $100s a month, at least based on the Colorado Springs neighborhoods that I know of, which are all of them. So I would say minimum, you're probably looking at $200 a month, but some of these neighborhoods can go up to like $400, $500, $600 a month, just depending on where you're at.
Well, and some of them are only like $50. So it really is, there's not like each community has different amenities, right? That's really what it's going to come down to. And then Sean kind of touched a little bit about special taxing district. Those are going to be more metro districts, and those are completely different than an HOA, right? It's a mill levy that the builder has, and you basically pay that premium. So good and bad, but there's all these little numbers that they're not going to advertise that stuff, you guys. They're not going to put a headline that says your HOA is going to be $275.
Right.
No, because then you want to go look at it.
And you need to keep in mind, which we can help you with this, if you are working with a lender, or let's say that you're working with a lender that we don't personally know, and they're either new or they're not familiar with the area, they're out of state, and you go under contract on this home, and then these additional fees come up later in the process. Well, let's say that changes your qualification and now you can't purchase this home and now you're super sad. The lenders that we work with are very familiar with the new build process. They're extremely savvy with everything Colorado Springs. So if you're looking for a lending partner that you can trust to get you through the new build process as well, reach out to us and we can help get you connected with someone that we trust.
For sure. So number 3 is something that I pride what Sean and I are really good at.
She likes to negotiate.
I love to negotiate, you guys. And that's a huge thing with just because it's a new build and it says that this is a price does not necessarily mean that that's all that we can get for you. So what does that look like? Like, what can you negotiate on a new build that would help you as a buyer?
So I remember probably early this year, late last year, it was a soldier moving to the area, and we went and looked at some houses around the Fort Carson area, and he decided that he did want to go with a new build. Well, this specific new build had a set price and set this and set that and set everything. Well, their set landscaping that was not included was then negotiated into the total cost. The set fencing that was not included into the total price was then negotiated in, as well as blinds, as well as washer and dryer, obviously the appliances.
Yeah.
What was there? There's another big one, no?
No, I think that was it.
But we negotiated basically everything that there is to negotiate. And if you guys aren't familiar, landscaping can be very, very expensive here in the Colorado Springs area. Whether you're doing artificial or real grass or whatever you're choosing, it can be tens of thousands of dollars sometimes. So to be able to get that and the fence included in the price of the home, which was, that was the other big thing. You got like how much off the price of the home?
We did. $30,000. We did get a price drop on it.
So not only did we get $20,000 or $30,000 off of the price of the home, but we got everything that would cost extra when you're first moving into a new build, the things that you're not thinking about, right? The blinds, the washer and dryer, all of those things were also included in that. So that was a huge score for this military buyer.
Yep. And that's going to lead into I'm going to talk about our next one, but then probably go back to this one the topic that we're talking about now. But you guys, that is one of the biggest reasons why you need a real estate agent when you are buying a new build. And, a lot of times people will ask us, well, if I just go in there by myself, will they just take what they're going to pay you as a buyer's agent and give me that price reduction? They don't, you guys. They already have it set in their budget and in their price work of how all of those fees are going to be associated. What they are going to do, though, is that they don't represent you, right? So do you think that they're going to proactively be like, hey, guess what? I can get you free landscaping? They're not going to say that, right? But if you have us on your side, we're going to go in there and we're going to say, hey, like, this is what we would like. What can we do to make this work?
We are totally going to merge topics 3 and 4. Topic 4 is the importance of working with a local real estate agent and why you need one when it comes to a new build, because another huge thing is a home inspection.
Yep.
I cannot tell you how many people go in and they're going to get a better deal because they're not getting an agent paid on the buy side, right? And then they don't even do a home inspection. I can't tell you, we've seen sewers completely ripped out, tens of thousands of dollars. They have to dig up all the dirt and replace the entire sewer line. We've seen insulation not put in walls. We've seen mold in...
Remember for the one where the heating duct wasn't put in?
Yeah, no heating at all. Nope. Like literally the things that happen in a new build, you have to remember they're still built by humans.
Yeah.
So things are going to get missed. And other times, unfortunately, thankfully it hasn't happened in a while, but people can just try to cut corners to save a few dollars.
Well,
isn't acceptable.
Yeah, and I think like the biggest thing, you guys, is that we, as your agents, we represent you guys, right? So we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that you are taken care of. And a lot of builders won't let you, they will push back on allowing you to do a home inspection. All of the builders that we work with here, they know when we come up with a contract, when we have a buyer, that we will be getting a private inspection. And we pay for that, you guys, when you work with us, because it's there to protect you, right? It's a third party company that comes in. They weren't there from ground up to the build, right? So they're going to see so many different things and be able to help us, help you guys, help the builder get it all right. But if you don't have an agent, they're not going to suggest that you do a private inspection. And we've heard so many horror stories with people who have not used an agent and they're dealing with big problems. And you don't want to do that. Like, we want to try to catch as much as possible before that happens. Obviously, like Sean said, they're built by humans. Stuff's going to go wrong, but we try to do whatever we can to figure that out before.
And don't get me wrong, the builder is not always out to get you.
No.
But you also don't know what you don't know. So when you go to the blue tape walkthrough, which is one of the final steps that you do before you actually close on the house, they should give you a roll of blue tape and you go and mark up every single thing that's wrong with the house. Some of these things need addressed immediately. Like, for example, if the handrail is totally loose and you as the buyer are just like, oh, it's just a few screws, I can totally go and fix it myself after I close. And then when you're moving in, you go to put pressure on that thing and you rip out the drywall. Like, it is your opportunity during the blue tape walkthrough to get everything and every little thing that you can imagine fixed. Every little chip in the paint, every loose screw, every loose handrail. Because if you don't, as the buyer, which we have unfortunately seen, and people just get totally walked on, or you do have that builder that's like, no, we're not going to fix that, and you just are like, okay, I guess this is a part of the process, you can totally get walked on. So it's not necessarily always their fault, but you also don't know what you don't.
Right, and I think that's just another big reason why you hire us, right? Like, you hire an agent because we do know, like, we've been through the process several times. We know the little things to pay attention to. Like, one of my favorite things to do is, and I look ridiculous, you guys, when I do it, but when we have our home inspection, we have the final walk, I'll pull up the carpet to see if they have tacked it down. The biggest thing not the biggest thing, but one of the most common things I see is that on the stairs, that carpet's coming up, right? So we want that fixed. We want that fixed right away. It's little things like that. Like, as a buyer, you're going to be so excited that you get to move into your brand new home, that let us help you pay attention to all that nitty-gritty stuff. That doesn't seem like a big deal, but can turn into a really big deal.
All right, if you have stuck around this long, congratulations, because this is the most important, in my opinion, of the 5 that we are talking about today. And this one is specifically speaking to the new build rate incentives. As you guys have probably seen since 2020, rates have continued to go up, and then they have stayed where they have stayed. Have they had a slight drop at the time of this recording? Possibly, but we are talking about rates potentially in the 2s when you work with some of our exclusive builders who we are not going to name because sometimes rates do change and incentives go away and they change. But if you are looking for rates in the 2s, call us or text us immediately, 719-238-1771, because there are some homes available in the Colorado Springs area that can qualify you for somewhere in the 2s. When it comes to rates, and at the time of this recording, our most recent buyer, which was last week, was approved at 5.8%. So we are talking hundreds of dollars a month being saved on your mortgage.
Well, and I think when it comes to rates, that means so many different things, right? You guys see the headlines, oh my gosh, rates are falling. And, in a few years when the rates first started to go up, there were a lot of people that were like, date the rate, marry the house. No, you guys, buy when it works best for you and your budget. However, with the new build incentives, it makes it extremely attractive when it comes to the payment because it is a very, very big difference. But what does that look like, right? How is a builder able to give you a 2% rate when a lender can only get you at 5.5 or 6.5 or 7.5? Who knows at the time of this recording? Rates change all the time, and it also there's a lot of factors that go into it, right? But how do they do that? How do they get that low rate? And they can do it by several different ways and reasons. The biggest one is that because buying in a new build, right? They normally own all of the companies that work with them. They have a hand in all of them.
You're going to work with their lender.
They will. The incentive to be able to get that is you have to work with their lender because they're getting money of some sort back from that lender, right? Because they 9 times out of 10 will own that lender too. So they can buy rates in bulk, and then that way they have those rates to be able to, they buy down the points because they're saving a ton of money on the fact that they own the company. They can offer you guys as a buyer a 3-2-1 buy down. What does that mean, right? That means that for 3 years, your rate is going to be 3 different rates, and your payment is going to change for those 3 different rates, right?
Which is super important to pay attention to. That could be a huge plus or a huge negative depending on your financial situation. So again, please reach out to us to discuss these options.
Yes, there's a 2-to-1 buy down, there's a permanent buy down, and all of that costs money, right? And so the builders have the incentives to be able to get you to work with them and to work with their lender to be able to save you monthly, because they're taking a hit on the opposite side of it.
Well, and this section was specifically on rates, but I also want to talk about this real quick. I just showed a buyer yesterday in a financial situation. He asked me if we could offer $65,000 less on a home that was priced at $365,000. The answer is no. The sellers are not going to accept that.
No. I mean,
however,
you can offer it.
You can definitely offer it. The sellers are not going to accept it. However, I have seen homes recently under $500,000 with up to $75,000 off, because basically what happens is that the builder builds homes, then the market changes, so then they have a saturated amount of homes sitting every single day costing them tens of thousands of dollars. So eventually they just get sick and tired of it, and they price cut it so hard that they hope that buyers will come in. I have seen $30, $40, $50, $60, $70,000 price cuts on brand new build homes, which can be a huge incentive for you. You might be walking into equity right away. You might not, depends on the situation. But when it comes to new builds, you can get killer rates. We've seen in the 2s, we have some in the 3s, we have some in the 4s. There's rates that are far below what market value would be for if you were to just go and try to purchase a pre-existing home. But you can also get huge price reductions as well.
Yep.
So we hope that this video has taught you a little bit about the new build process and the perks and the potential dangers of buying a new build. If you are looking at moving to the Colorado Springs area, new build or not, I am Sean, this is Crystal. Welcome to our channel where we discuss all things Colorado Springs and real estate. We would love to help point you in the right direction when it comes to homes in areas of Colorado Springs. Call us or text us at 719-238-1771 so that we can discuss your unique situation. We would love to help, and as always, we will see you in the next video.